So you're here in the historic Gerber building, which was opened December 12, 1923 as a train station here in Uptown. Chicago Market is a startup grocery cooperative that's looking to repurpose and elevate and restore this building into a resource for all the community, rich, poor, people of different ethnicities, backgrounds. It's going to be a nucleation point for community. It pushes all of its work through its values, which includes relationships, ownership, sustainability, accountability, justice, and joy. We're going to be supporting hundreds of local and regional producers, ranchers, and growers, incubating myriad local businesses right here in Chicago at the small scale, and employing dozens of people in dignified work. None of that would be possible without the support from our city. Similar to those of you that we're here to celebrate today, we've received grant funding that's pushed us to a point where we can actually realize this dream. So I want to say thank you to Mayor Lightfoot for her support. Thank you to the City Council. Thank you to Alderman Kappelman and Alderman Osterman. Thank you to all of the people who work in the city departments and agencies that help make this happen. So we really appreciate all of you. I'm going to bring up our esteemed board president. He's a high energy fellow and ultra brilliant, Matthew Ruffey.
Hello, everyone. I hope I didn't disappoint you that I didn't actually do a backflip up to the podium. So, thank you all for being here. We are so honored to have everyone sitting here today in this space. We were in your seats not that long ago, waiting anxiously while a few people that you don't know maybe talked for a bit, waiting to see our name on the screen. We can't wait to see your name on the screen too. We can't wait to see you take that next step. The beautiful part about grants like these and about programs like these and support from the city like this is that it's not just building a business, it's not just expanding an organization, it's building community. It comes back to that care for community that all of you have. And so thank you for caring about community. At the same time, how good does it feel when community cares back? How good does it feel when the city stands behind you and says that it's important that you open, it's important that you expand? So truly, congratulations to all of you. We're really excited to be here. But on that care for community, I'm honored to introduce our next speaker, who is someone that has cared for every community that he's lived in. He has done an excellent job as our alderperson here in the 46th Ward. He's a wonderful neighbor to have here in Uptown, and he's just a wonderful person. He cares about businesses, he cares about people, and he's done everything that he can to do good in our communities. And we are truly, truly honored and so proud to be able to call him a supporter, a Chicago Market owner. I think you're owner number 500, and our alderperson and my friend, James Kappelman.
Thank you, Matt. I admire Matt so much, not only for his love of community, but he is just who he is. And I thought about wearing shorts today because Matt always wears shorts unless the snow is over his shoes. So I thought, well, one way to kind of connect with him more is to wear shorts, but I chickened out, and so did he. I didn't even recognize him. Chicago Market is one of the recipients from the city's grant, and it has a remarkable story, and we can't wait to celebrate its 100th birthday this December 12th. This building was at one point in time going to be torn down. So the fact that it's saved and now it's going to be a hub for the community is even better. Uptown is an unusual community. We have over 92 different languages spoken here. And we're also one of those communities that we welcome everyone, including refugees from Mexico and South America. We have, I believe, close to 100 men staying at Truman College. We have a number of families. We have 20 extra students that have arrived at McCutcheon, and we held a kind of a workshop for them to welcome them to Chicago and to the Uptown community. And it's been a great way of connecting them and welcoming them to our wonderful community of Uptown. COVID did quite a number on us. My dad lived through the 1917 epidemic, the influenza, the epidemic, and his sister died from that. And he remembers it. He remembered it well. COVID will be one of those times for us in this day and time. And it was a time that's for some people it brought out the worst, because we were just all scrambling for resources. We were scared. But it also brought out the best. But that's the situation that we found ourselves with COVID, is that there was an incredible need for resources, and it was important that we take those right steps. I believe 100 years from now, when we discuss COVID and its impact across the cities in this country, we will talk about the great things that happened in Chicago, and that happened under Mayor Lightfoot's leadership. I've learned that if you want to get the mayor's attention, you do it out of a sense of fairness. If you approach her out of a sense of fairness and equity, she's all ears. The problem, though, is that we have 50 aldermen all wanting what's best for their community, and I don't blame them. I want what's best for my community. Her job is to do what's best for the city, with all these people scrambling for resources. I've taken a lot of philosophy and ethics courses through the years, and one course I took, I remember we studied John Stuart Mill, who said, those who only know their side of the case know very little of that. And that's the job of our mayor, is that she has to know all the repercussions of every decision that's made, because we are living in a time of limited resources. When she has to make these tough decisions, she knows that she has to surround herself with very, very good people who can give her wise counsel. When she took office, she did not surround herself and appoint people as commissioners who worked on her campaign or who gave her contributions, who were politically connected. She appointed people who were brilliant in their field. And those people have given her incredible advice, and they also lead her, because that's the fact of what true leadership is. It's taking in all this information to make good decisions. And so with that, I'm very proud and honored to introduce our mayor, Lori Lightfoot.
Every time I'm with Jim Kappelman, my spirit gets lifted. Such a good heart, such a good man, really is our guiding star on so many things around equity, inclusion, and making sure that we're seeing those people in our communities that are really most in need, that are really most vulnerable. He's going to run through the tape, but we're going to miss him in the City Council. So Jim, thank you again for everything that you've done and everything that you will do. I know you're not done yet. I'm excited to see what the next chapter will bring, and I'm sure that whatever you choose to do, it's going to be something that benefits the people that are most in need. So thank you dearly for everything. So folks, good morning. We are here today to announce the Winter 2023 round of Community Development Grant finalists, and yet take another step forward in our efforts to restore and enhance social and economic vibrancy in our neighborhoods. Let me depart from my script. Hopefully all of you have seen this document, and all you need to do is turn to the first page on the inside, and you look at those blue dots. Some of them are light blue, some of them are dark blue for the announcements that we're going to be making today. But what you see is that we are infusing every neighborhood in Chicago with resources, with hope, and with opportunity. And I say this every time that we've done one of these announcements. Each and every single one of these grant recipients, you've been chosen because you have a track record of doing the right thing, helping improve the quality of life in your communities. As we make these announcements, as you get the grants, you are now fiduciaries of the trust, not only that we are investing in you, but the trust that you hold for the people and the communities that each of you will serve. This is what we must be about in this time. Our communities are recovering, but there's still work to be done. And so each and every one of you has the opportunity to really make a profound difference. Whether you're a healthcare center, whether you're a restaurant, whether you're another kind of community organization, the charge is to go and do good in your communities. So you're going to hear from Commissioner Cox in a moment, who will announce today's recipients. But these moments are always exciting. It's always great to see and feel the enthusiasm and the energy that permeates the award recipients. And what I love about these community development announcements is that through this program, we aren't just investing in one community, but again, spreading the investments across our city where the needs are. Today, from Bridgeport to North Lawndale and uptown to Chatham, we are celebrating exciting new developments that will contribute to our city's overall economic recovery and restore our neighborhoods to their great potential, all of our neighborhoods. The city has been issuing community development grants since early 2022 as part of our Chicago Recovery Plan. This plan is our equity-based investment strategy that will lead to a sustainable economic recovery, as well as foster thriving and safe neighborhoods. I can't underscore this enough. It's not one and done. It's about making sure that we are intentional about putting the money that's going to be catalytic and spur other kinds of economic activity and healing across our city. And guided by this plan, it's earmarked funding, we can launch programs like the Community Development Grant Program and expand initiatives like Invest Southwest to strengthen local business corridors and enhance neighborhood vitality. Today we are awarding 12 grants to 12 projects, which collectively will receive $28 million in city funding through a combination of Chicago bond funds and TIF funding. And as I said, the 12 finalists come from all over the city, representing 11 communities, areas, and city wards. Today, all projects were selected through an extremely competitive process, given the level of interest that we've received every time that we've opened up these applications. Each project was selected because they answer a community need that's important. We don't come in from the 5th floor and tell you what you need. You tell us. And then we say, how can we partner with you to fill that need? And that's precisely what these grant awards are about. In a few moments, as Commissioner Cox will announce each project, but I'd like to highlight just a few if I can. I'm going to steal a little bit of your thunder. First, we're excited to support Bandwidth, a nonprofit focused on providing low-income and no-cost music education to youth who wouldn't otherwise have access. I will tell you, this is near and dear to my heart. I was one of those kids in 4th grade when the opportunity came for us to participate in music. My parents didn't have a lot, and I think it took them years to pay off my instrument. But in 4th grade, somebody put a trumpet in my hand, and that's really where my love of music became even more intensified. Playing not only in the elementary, but the junior high school, the marching band in high school, and playing a little bit in college. Music is so powerful, such an incredible way for us to express our own creativity, but also being in a band is one of the greatest experiences that I've ever had in my life. Still very much in touch with the people that I was in band with over the years, but music makes us so human and connects us no matter who we are, no matter where we come from. And I want to give it up again for the jazz band that was playing with us. So Bandwidth, W-I-T-H, a play on words, will renovate a vacant factory in East Garfield Park into a community performing arts space. Another community that has such great people and assets, but needs our help. So over on Cottage Grove Avenue in Woodlawn, the revived 6300 project will redevelop the historic Washington Square Bank Building, bringing new office and retail space, as well as a co-working space and a food hall to the area. And then there's Demira. Now, people in this neighborhood know it. It's just up the street. A great Ethiopian restaurant. If you haven't been there, I highly recommend it. But they're now going to be located in Bronzeville in an Invest Southwest corridor. And I can tell you, the folks in that neighborhood will welcome you with open arms. Through this round of community development grants, we're also proud to fund 2 health center operations. And let me just step back. There are many, many lessons that we learn through COVID. And one of the most important is the need to make sure that people across our city, particularly those in underserved neighborhoods, particularly those in areas that are more vulnerable to the life of, more vulnerable because they don't have access to good quality health care, the need to make sure that we are funding community-based healthcare centers and clinics cannot be understated. It is absolutely essential to have a healthy Chicago, to make sure that we demystify a lot of the myths that are out there about healthcare and bring people into care, affordable care, culturally competent and relevant care. This is one of the great lessons of COVID, and we ignore it at our peril, but we're not ignoring it. And so today, I'm happy to announce Tapestry 360 here in Uptown, in Iman, in Chicago Lawn, to help them expand critical care services and serve more patients in both of those communities. Congratulations. Another lesson from COVID that we might not have known, but for people telling us about their need: food access. Healthy food access. Big, big issue that was flashing like a neon sign throughout the height of COVID. Again, something that we absolutely had to address and address it quickly. So we are supporting food access through a new grocery store in Alt-Geld Gardens. Folks, I can't even underscore to you how important this announcement is for that community. Alt-Geld, our neighbors on the far south side, who've been isolated and alone for far too long and have no access to grocery stores for far too long. One of the things that I heard both 4 years ago and throughout my time as mayor is we need access to a grocery store. So Alt-Geld Gardens, today is the day that the grocery store is coming. Healthy options for all the families that are there. You don't have to get on the bus. You don't have to get in your car. It's going to be right there in your community, responsive to you, and hiring from that community. So Alt-Geld, we hear you, we see you, and we are responding to your need. The Far South Side Coalition brought together many local organizations to create a quality of life plan, which highlighted the community's vital need for a grocery store. That advocacy is what brought us to this moment. We made a promise, and we are keeping that promise to the Alt-Geld community. So we are awarding $4.9 million of city funding to finally bring a grocery store there. The ground-up construction at 130th and Eberhard Avenue and Alt-Geld Gardens by Yellow Banana will provide increased food options to the 100,000 people living within 3 miles of that store's location. And the timing of this project, of course, couldn't be better. Because guess what? Guess what else is coming to the far south side? The Red Line extension. And there will be a train station at 130th Street located in Alt-Geld Gardens, and that project continues to move forward. So with that extension, we're linking Alt-Geld Gardens to the rest of the city for the first time, while also creating a plan for transit-supportive development that will simultaneously deliver neighborhood amenities that are desperately needed, not just in Olive Garden, but around all 4 of the stops that are planned for the Red Line extension. In addition to the grocery store, you can clap for that. In addition to the grocery store, we are supporting a number of neighborhood-based restaurants and food service businesses, all of which enhance neighborhood vitality and increase opportunities for our residents. It's been amazing to see the success of the program just this past year alone. Including today's announcement so far, we have awarded over $153 million in community development grants all over the city. Again, look at those dots. Each of those dots represents hope, investment, opportunity to fill a need in a community. And after today, there will be 175 projects underway across 54 community areas. This amounts to almost $414 million in total development going directly into our neighborhoods. That's real money, folks, making real difference in the lives of real people in our city, especially those that have historically been denied access for opportunities to succeed. So no matter what the future holds, we have laid a solid foundation for further investments and developments, delivering the promise of a prosperous and vibrant city for all of our residents. So for as long as I'm mayor, I will continue to invest in the strength of our neighborhoods in an equitable and strategically smart way. I want to thank every one of you and congratulate all of today's partners for being along on this journey to build a better, more equitable, more inclusive, and fairer Chicago. All of you are contributing to Chicago's economic recovery, and you are making your communities better places for the residents to live. So I'm grateful. I say thank you. And as I said at the beginning, you are now the holders of a community trust. Go forth and do good. And with that, I'm going to invite Commissioner Cox for the most important moments to introduce today's grant winners. Commissioner.
Awesome. Hey, good morning. Wow, man, what a beautiful day, huh? It almost feels like spring is right around the corner after the next snowfall. But it's great to be back in Uptown. It's wonderful to be in Alderman Kappelman's hometown. Uptown is on the move. Just taking the little ride from Lakeshore Drive to this location, I think I saw 3 or 4 buildings under construction. I saw affordable housing, and then to land in this amazing space and to know that Chicago Market will be here, owned by thousands of people. This is what the recovery plan is all about. So thank you, Alderman Kappelman, for being such an incredible partner in making this community more equitable, more resilient as a result of your tenure as alderman. To Mayor Lightfoot, make no mistake about it, not every community in America is interpreting the recovery dollars in this manner. This is a very unique strategy that believes that folks who are in the community know what the community needs. And our job is to add that additional resource to get them over the finish line of this amazing journey that they're on. So thank you, Mayor Lightfoot, for interpreting these resources in this very particular way. It could not have happened without you. So I get the pleasure of announcing not just inspired projects, but inspired teams that are behind the project. Because we're really here to celebrate your work, your journey, and to join you on that journey. As I mentioned, it's kind of thrilling to see this building finally with a $5 million grant get across the finish line, and I hope we'll be here for the ribbon cutting about this time next year. About right? Excellent. Look forward to it. And so how we're going to do this, because there are a lot of you, we're going to announce each project individually. And when we do, I'd like the finalists to just stand up and to soak up our love and appreciation for you. And I'll say a little bit about it, but really this day is for you. And then afterwards, we'll kind of come up here and do a group photograph. So, are we ready? Yes. Awesome. Drum roll. We definitely need a little drum roll. So, we're going to start with arts, theater, and cultural investments. The mayor mentioned this one, which is kind of an amazing story for East Garfield Park. So it is our pleasure to announce a band with, that is a musical band with Chicago. They're our first recipients. Annie and your team, if you could stand up. There they are. They are creating this new performing arts center, which is going to be the center of their musical instruction for young people in East Garfield, a beautiful adaptive reuse building. They are receiving a $5 million grant award. Thank you. Thank you so much. And you should just Google them, and you will be touched if you hear what they're doing for these young people. The next in the arts and culture recipient is on Chicago's east side. They are the team that is called La Catrina. If you could stand up. This is really, really beautiful. They saw the need for a banquet hall and an event space in their community. There was no place for a community to do birthday parties, weddings, and they saw this need. They got a building, and they are creating this new venue on South Burley Avenue. We are supporting their work with a $250,000 grant award. Thank you. Just look at this young, youthful potential. They threw their hat in the ring with 600 others, and they're getting to realize their dream. Thank you for your work. So let's move to the commercial redevelopment area that has literally been years in the making in Woodlawn. When I got here, I received a booklet on this project. And the booklet suggested that they tear this historic Washington Bank down. And through a series of community reconsiderations, DL3 purchased this bank building from the land bank, and they are recreating it as Revive 6300. We have DL3 in the house. Representative from DL3. So they are saving a good portion of the bank and putting a new building behind it that will have commercial uses, will have retail, a food court, and other neighborhood amenities to anchor the intersection of 63rd and Cottage. They are receiving a $5 million grant to get this project done. So congratulations. The mayor also spoke in the area of health and wellness. This has been obviously a really central part to our recovery strategy. I think this may be about the 6th or 7th or 8th health center we have funded. Tapestry 360 Health, can you stand up? Awesome. Amazing team. Thank you. They are producing a new community health center on Monrose that's increasing the capacity for local community access to healthcare, repurposing an existing one-story building. They are receiving a $3.8 million grant. Thank you for your work. So let's move over to Chicago Lawn and our next healthcare related grant finalists. This team is their force. And where is Rami? Rami and your team, can you stand up? This is the Iman. The Iman Health Center is building off of their work. Iman stands for the Inner City Muslim Action Network. They are a force on the South Side. They are an anchor to 63rd Street, and they are going to be providing a facility that gives holistic healthcare related services at 63rd and California, reaching that entire community. We're going to hear from Rami a little later, but just thank you for your work. Thank you for your work on the South Side. Powerful, powerful stuff. Iman Health Center. Let's move over to everybody's favorite, food and dining. These projects that are so much a part of what makes our neighborhoods worth living in. And we are thrilled that the food is extremely ethnic this year. We are going to start in Uptown with our first restaurant finalists, 88 Plates. 88 Plates LLC. Awesome. So 88 Plates is creating a new cafe on Argyle Street. It is going to be focused on traditional Thai desserts and drinks and street food. They are receiving a grant of $156,000 to build out their establishment. So our next finalist is also well known in Uptown, and what's beautiful about this restaurant, Demira Ethiopian, if you could stand up so we could see you. Awesome. Yeah. So what I love about it, apart from the Ethiopian food, this is a group that have established themselves on the north side, and now they're branching out to the south side and going to be an anchor to our restaurant row on Cottage Grove. And so we thank you. They are receiving a $3.1 million grant. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful story. You should Google them as well. And you should definitely go to their restaurant so you'll get a sample of what you're going to be in for on the South. Thank you. Right down the street. Wait. So now over to Bridgeport for our next finalist for Recovery Plan Grant. This is a really interesting group. I'm going to ask them to stand. Circle Foundation. Circle Foundation. And when I was trying to understand their story, I had to go to the website and actually found that CIRCLE stands for Creating Inspirational Realities, Collectively Lifting Everyone Foundation. They work with our young people and are just amazing young folks who are getting another chance through their current establishment. They found a location in Bridgeport, and they're going to be opening up a new student-run cafe on South Gratiot to train young people in the art of running a restaurant or a cafe. They are receiving a $154,000 grant. Thank you so much. And if we keep going over to Hyde Park, our next finalist, it's a pleasure to announce or introduce Kilwin's Restaurant. A lot of you know about this well-established staple in Hyde Park. They will be adding an amazing outdoor dining experience to their existing restaurant. They're receiving a $250,000 recovery grant to do that work. Congratulations. Moving on to Chatham and our next finalists. This is another grocery store, a micro grocery cooperative called Southside Market. Is Southside Market in the house? There you are. Awesome. Again, understanding food and the community that it can foster. So thank you for your approach to this. They are locating on 79th Street in Chatham. It will feature a cafe as well as other local amenities. They're receiving a grant for $239,000 to build their Southside Market. Congratulations. So I have two more to go. And the next finalist is in North Lawndale, which is getting brighter every day as a result of these finalists. Sunshine's Place. If you could stand up. Awesome. Sunshine, thank you for bringing a little soul food to the table. She is opening a new soul food restaurant. It's planned on West Roosevelt Road. It's being supported with a $54,000 recovery grant. Thank you for bringing a little sunshine to North Lawndale. And we're going to conclude with one more grocery store. And the mayor talked about the power of the Red Line extension and finally reaching communities to the far south side. This is in Riverdale and the Outgall Gardens community. And those around are going to receive finally a grocery store. And it is thanks to Yellow Banana. Is Yellow Banana in the house? I think I saw you. Yes. Thank you. This team is going to be building out a 10,000 square foot grocery store that will be on South Rhodes Avenue. And it is thanks to a $4.9 million recovery plan grant. They are partners in multiple sites, and we just thank you for stepping up and filling an absolutely critical need. And we're gonna make sure that community is excited and working with you to finally get a grocery store, a quality grocery store in their neighborhood. Congratulations. So, those are our 12 finalists. You probably know you're at the beginning of a journey, and we're going to try to surround you with assistance and technical help you need from the mayor's office, from the planning and development office. We will be there with you every step of the way. And I think you should probably see some of the faces of the people who are doing this work. They're in the house. We have Tim. All those who are working on this recovery plan, if you could just raise your hand so people can see who you are. In the mayor's office, in the planning and development office, you have Terrence in the building departments. Absolutely. You're going to need all of our assistance from the construction documents to the building permits to things like the water department. It gets really kind of crazy. So we are going to be there with you to make sure you get to the finish line. So at this point, I'd like to introduce an inspiring gentleman, an inspiring story, Rami Nashashapi. I just call him Rami. To give you a few words about the work that Iman is doing. Rami.
Peace and blessings, everybody. Salamu alaikum, and good morning. It is a beautiful day. My dear beloved brother Maurice, I'm going to forgive you for butchering my last name. And also forgive you for setting me up to introduce a name that's probably harder than mine. But we'll get into that in a moment. Mayor, I want to begin by acknowledging we're organizers, so our job is to agitate a little bit, as well as develop and build and challenge our politicos to really fulfill on promises, and to acknowledge when they are and to challenge them when they're not. I remember being with you almost a few months after your successful run, and we were commemorating the century of the 1919 riots in Chicago on the South Side. A dark history in this city that a lot of folks were not really ready to lift up and talk about before the brutal death of George Floyd, before a burgeoning kind of consciousness that spread across the country. You allowed us to speak openly and honestly that day, and many of the organizers and activists, while you sat on stage, recognizing that while this city has extraordinary potential, while this city has always had extraordinary promise, it's also been a city that's been divided, segregated, disconnected, and that communities have been suffering in the margins. You committed then, Mayor, to work with community groups across the city to try to embark on a rectification of that. Yesterday at Iman, we had the pleasure and honor of hosting another one of dynamic members of your team, Dr. Arwady, who gathered with organizations from across the city to acknowledge another extraordinarily impressive map. And on that map, we were talking about the trauma-informed centers of care, which only 3 years ago, she lifted up a map with maybe 5 dots across the city and showed that the mental health and behavioral health centers only existed in around 5 communities. 3 or 4 years later, not even, now they exist in every 77 community across the city of Chicago. That's thanks to you. That's thanks to leaders and organizers. The map that you put up here today to demonstrate that these projects are not just one-offs, that they're part of a constellation of projects that bring our communities and neighborhoods that have been disconnected from one another together. The other thing I've always appreciated about in every one of these moments, you've always recognized that it's just the beginning, that it's not enough. It's gonna take a lot of effort and energy for all of us to fight for the restorative justice, for the reparative justice, to make each and every one of these neighborhoods across the city thriving for all of our communities. The project that Iman has, I hope and pray that will continue to be part of the fabric on 63rd Street that pulls what's happening on 63rd in California to what's happening on 63rd in Racine, to what's happening on 63rd in Halsted, to 63rd in Cottage Grove, all the way to the Obama Center, to be able to build a fabric of what our neighborhoods can look like on the South Side when they come together. This center, as modest as it may seem, it's a beautiful design built on top of an existing building that is currently our health center, which is only 3,000 square feet. This additional almost 19,000 square feet has already, we've not even built a cracked, broken ground. A design built by award-winning global architects Gensler alongside Nia has already won prestigious awards for the leading design that's not only bringing together primary care, but alongside the trauma-informed centers of care, Iman is going to use this building to pioneer a leading, cutting-edge integrative care model that brings primary, behavior health, art therapy all together under one building so that our communities, Black, Brown, Latino, Muslim, Catholic, Jewish, can integrate our holistic healing methods and demonstrate what true healing can look and feel like on the South Side of Chicago. This $5 million gets us far into that process, and we're going to be hustling every dollar from every other source for the next year, and God willing, find a way to break ground on this extraordinary project next year. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Maurice. Thank you for all the Team DPD, and congratulations to all of you. I'm really just sat there absorbing all of your success and can't wait to visit each and every one of the projects. My task now is to, I think, again, this is kind of divine payback from Maurice. By the way, that last name, Neshashibi, I grew up, everyone always thought it was Japanese because it rhymed with Mitsubishi, but it's actually Palestinian. It's a Southside Palestinian name. Think Mitsubishi next time, Maurice. Think Mitsubishi. So I am going to bring up, we already introduced the project. I'm going to bring up Sister Tritip Intelakau and Brother Dennis Mondero from the Chinese Mutual Aid Society. Can you please welcome them up to talk about this extraordinary project?
Hi, everyone. I'm Dennis Mondero. I am the executive director of a nonprofit here in Uptown called Chinese Mutual Aid Association. I have the great pleasure of introducing the owner of Thai Pastry, 88 Plates, Tritip Interakau. Her brother Oz right there, so shout out to And just to share, in Thai culture and custom, the more syllables you have in your last name is a sign of more royalty. And so that's why you'll see people in the Thai ethnicity have 4 or 5 or 6 syllables. So she's got 4 or 5, you know. But Tritip has asked me to primarily speak because she isn't accustomed to speaking in front of large crowds. And but I can share with you that I have dined often at Thai Pastry, and that beautiful smile you see from her and her genuine affection goes into her food. And so I encourage everyone here, 4925 North Broadway, after this, if you're hungry, before you leave Uptown, please consider going to Thai Pastry. And I'll put a shout out that, not everyone has like brown rice. I'm trying to eat healthier and have a lot of vegetarian options, and so they certainly have that. Thank you to Commissioner Cox, the Department of Planning and Development. Thank you, Mayor Lightfoot. Before talking a little bit about what Tritip's restaurant and Tritip and Oz plans for the future, I want to give a really special thank you and shout out to Mayor Lightfoot. In recent weeks, with the senseless killings in Monterey Park and Half Moon Bay, California, it really affected the Asian American community everywhere, nationally. And Mayor Lightfoot reached out to myself and other leaders of the AAPI community, and she convened on a Sunday a meeting just to check in with us. And knowing that we had the Lunar New Year parades here in Uptown and in Chinatown the following weekend, you made sure that police commanders were appropriately routed so that we could really have safe yet joyous celebrations. And so that's something that people don't hear and see, and I wanted to take this occasion to share it with the larger audience that this is what you do. So we thank you for it. And in your term as mayor, you have come to Argyle and Broadway and walked with Chinese Mutual Aid and our team to visit all of the residents of Argyle and Broadway. And so again, every year, at least 2 times a year through COVID, you've done that. And I want to thank you openly for doing that. So another round of applause. So Tritip, this area of Uptown, we have the difficulty that it's gentrifying, and so rents are skyrocketing, and she's always long had a dream of creating a more beautiful restaurant. Her food is amazing, but if you go to the restaurant, it's a bit modest in terms of its build, of what it's got in terms of the table settings and whatnot. And we've also seen, particularly with COVID, a higher rate of permanent closures of restaurants and stores. A lot of the restaurants on Argyle and Broadway are truly mom and pop restaurants. And so she talked to our organization, to our Small Business Development Center, Neighborhood Business Development Center. Commissioner Ken Meyer, thank you. We are proud to be a City of Chicago NBDC. And so Tree Tip shared her vision of wanting to take one of the vacant spaces on Argyle in a more higher profile location right across the street from the entrance to the Red Line station, and moving into that spot, building it out to be a really beautiful space, and also like not only having her continued goods of lunch, dinner, and pastries, but then really be intended that with that location, it could be something that for CTA riders and with the build out of the Red Line, that they can like get coffee and pastries as they then commute to and from work. And that, her vision, I totally get why DPD saw that and says, that fits into our larger vision for the city. And we are just so honored and humbled that, that the city, with all the applicants received, saw her vision and has made it possible. So truly eternal grateful thanks to Mayor Lightfoot, Commissioner Cox, Commissioner Meyer, for all of that. Did I miss anything?
No. Thank you very much.
So thank you. Welcome to Uptown. Please patronize Thai Pastry.
I think, so there you have it. And behind each one of these awards is a story like that. And so this is starting to be like the best part of the job, just coming to these meetings and hearing these amazing stories. So now we would like to have a group photo with the mayor. So if all of the teams could come to the front. Oh, we're going to do it on the stairs, even better. We're going to do it on the stairs. So everybody who is a part of that team, join us for the photo.